Good. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to another transfer show here on the channel. Going live again today because there was literally no transfer news. There's literally nothing going on. So I thought I'd have a little chat with you guys, have a little heart-to-heart and have a chat about what we think is going on. Kenneth, mate, how are you? Kyle, Kennedy. All right, guys, how are you all doing? It's good to see you here. Yeah, so basically there's literally no news. So basically I just thought, normally I get my stuff from, I see it on Twitter, then I fact check it elsewhere. But if you've seen everyone else's Twitter, you'll know that apparently I look younger than 13 because, I got a beard. Yeah, so basically I haven't been able to fact check anything really properly. So Lawrence has been doing it for me, showing how invaluable he is by checking stuff out. So he sent me through some stories. So I'm going to have a read through some of them. I'm 20 years old, for those of you that are asking. Yeah, literally, I thought today, because there is not a lot going on, literally, we could just have a chat. And then we can take it from there and go forward. But I'm going to go through some of these stories which Lawrence has given me for today, the beautiful man. So first story for today, obviously, is about Sarri, which is apparently saying it's back on. Not Surrey for people, just in case it gets slightly confusing, because I've got slightly confused a couple of times. So apparently, according to some sources, the motivation by Sarri's possible complaint to UEFA is clear. Basically, what potentially could be happening is that it's considered inappropriate behaviour by Napoli. Sarri would have had at least 2 offers from China, but he wants to work in Europe. This is apparently according to Il Mattino. And then on top of that, Diego Luca has said as well that from the latest news we have, Sarri can never be closer to a deal with Chelsea. And it does not end here. A player could fall into the Premier League, and I could also confirm that player and his surname. His name is El Said. I think it says Hysad, but I've learned how to pronounce it. It's pronounced Usai, as in like Usai. So El Said Usai. Okay, and that's according to Radio Kiss Kiss Napoli, which I'm not really going to trust because it's a local Napoli news station, and that is like trusting something really bad. But to be fair, you wouldn't put it past me considering I did it the other day. Obviously, right now, as well, England are playing a game against Costa Rica, currently 2-0 up, as far as I believe. Don't know, don't really care. It's an international friendly, if I'm honest. Not really following it. I'm just getting ready for the World Cup, which would be incredibly exciting. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Sarri. From the amount it's bouncing around, it just screams like another Koulibaly situation. It's going to keep going around in circles, and it's not going to happen. Sarri right now he's the second manager on the books of Napoli. However, he's saying he's going to take them to court. They're doing nothing illegal. Literally, they're doing nothing illegal. He's under contract. He wants to get out of contract. The only way he can get out of contract is by paying that money himself, like Neymar did for his move to PSG, or he can literally. Excuse me, just reading something. Just in Jack was here. He can literally just get Chelsea to try and pay the release clause, of which he isn't doing. So we're not doing it. Okay, but here's another way to think about it: is that basically we full-time just roll around as well. England beat Costa Rica 2-0. For those of you that are interested, but literally the big thing for me right now is that we're struggling over £8 million. We spent 13.3 releasing Andre Villas-Boas from his contract at Porto. Now that just summarises everything that's going on there. I want to know what you guys think about this. We'll have a read. We'll check out some comments. But for me, honestly, I would have said put Jody Morris in, but obviously it's not going to happen now because he's gone to Derby to join Frank Lampard. Again, we're just repeating ourselves every single time we do a show. Literally, Sarri is another manager that's going to be gone in 2 years. Chelsea have no plan. They don't implement it. We don't know what's going on. And it's just something which it just doesn't make any sense. And for me personally, it just doesn't. It just annoys me. I want to see us succeed. I want to see us go forward. However, this just does not seem to be happening. We do not seem to be pushing ourselves to go to the next level in any way, shape or form right now. Currently, I think, look, we were doing it by a short-term method, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, for a situation like this, there should have been a plan in place, and there hasn't been. obviously, this is a lot to do with the financial and the economic and the political tensions between the UK and Russia. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the World Cup coming up. Britain basically saying to try and pull them out after the Salisbury poisonings. For those of you who don't know, there was a double agent. I think it was with the stuff at MI6 and the Russian Secret Service, and basically the British are basically saying that Russia did it, but then the Russians saying it didn't happen. And it's basically just a load of stuff that's, not making any sense. And now they use Roman Abramovich as a scapegoat. And obviously, you can't really prepare for this situation. You didn't really think it was going to happen. But literally right now, we are not paying any money whatsoever. Lawrence is already sending me another message as well. We'll talk about, wow, he's a very busy, Jesus. Thank you, Lawrence. This as we go along, we've got all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, leave us your thoughts. Do you want Sarri at Chelsea? Do you not? Let's have a little chat. Let's have a level chat about that as well. Obviously, another player that we mentioned in that was Higuain. So Higuain, for me, I was having a debate. So if you follow me on Instagram, which right now I suggest you do, because that's where I'm posting all my stuff for social media and what I think about current transfer situations. That I do live streams and stuff on my personal Instagram while my stuff is down. It's literally, I'm going to put it in the chat now. It's my name. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can literally see what I'm doing there. And I'll respond to all the messages on there like I do on Twitter until all of this is sorted. It's literally in there now. So if you follow me on Instagram, we'll have a chat. But literally, for me, I was having this conversation earlier. Higuain is currently, I'd say, the best right back in the Serie A. He obviously, if people watched the City game when Napoli played him, he did get torn a new one by Leroy Sané. However, in terms of his all-round game and all his attributes, he's very well balanced. I think he'd work well for us. I think he'd be definitely a good addition. Right now, I think obviously we'd have Azpilicueta as a first-choice right back, because if we're playing 4 at the back, that's where he's going to play. Or Marcos Alonso becomes a backup. Azpilicueta goes back to left back, and then we get Higuain and he plays as a starting right back, which is something which could potentially happen. But yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, it's going to tip down quickly. Hello, you can actually see me now. But yeah, for me, it's a very interesting situation, and I like him as a player. I think he'd definitely be someone which we could add as an addition. But at the same time, the question remains: are we going to pay for him? Sarri obviously needs to come through the door first for this to work. The key factor in this, which has been consistent in many news sources across the few days that this story has been reported, is that Sarri comes in, Higuain wants to follow him. So basically, this is something which people really, really want, they clearly want to see because it's in the news. I'm just looking at comments now and people talking about transfers. Look, I'm going to say it again, like I said on my live stream a few days ago, do not talk about Leon Bailey. Do not talk about Zinedine Zidane. Currently, right now, I do not consider Chelsea a top club. We're not. Excuse me. Yeah, but Chelsea right now do not have any money. That is pretty clear. If we either don't have any money or Mourinho's not spending. It's one of the two, or it's both. Currently, I think we need to see outgoings to see incomings. This is why potentially Courtois is been talked about leaving, all that kind of stuff. So I'd be interested to see what would happen with that. But in terms of other transfer news, what else we got here from Lawrence, the beautiful man? Let's have a look. Basically, Simon Phillips backing up the story about Sarri, saying he is pretty much as close as he can get right now. But the main transfer stories are apparently Malcolm's agent is due in England in the next couple of days to listen to offers for his player. Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester United are all interested and has an asking price of €45 million. So obviously this is a story which has been quite heavily reported over the past few days. Lawrence mentioned it a few days ago, saying that apparently we're very close to a deal, very interested in the player. Look, Malcolm is a very good up-and-coming talent, but at the same time, why would you spend 45 million quid on a winger when we've got players like Hudson-Odoi who give maybe a bit more time to develop in the club, and I think would obviously he's supposedly one of the Britain's best up-and-coming talents. As well as that, he's also a few years younger. He's already part of the setup. He would add one of those English squad player slots. It's stuff, basic housekeeping, I guess, is where to say. Look, he's a massive talent, this Malcolm guy, but is he exactly what we run out, or do we already have those players? Piazon's been doing well at Fulham. Obviously, we've got Nathan, who we bought, who's done absolutely nothing. Mason Mount is another player. Loftus-Cheek can play out wide. There are so many players right now that we could potentially look at. But yeah, listen, like for me, I like Malcolm. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a superb player, but I do not think that he is the. I don't think it's necessary to spend the money on him. I don't want us to spend the money on another 21-year-old player who comes into the team, does really well or whatever, because he's a decent quality already. He's ready-made. But then we see other players go out and do better. This is what we saw with Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku. And if we do buy him, which I think is very unlikely in the current situation, I think that it would be pointless and it would be disappointing because we'd see other players leave. Obviously, I think this is a potential replacement for Martial or Willian because that was what the deal was originally. Martial coming in, Willian going out. However, I think that Malcolm, he'd be a replacement for Willian. But what I like about Martial is he could play anywhere on the front line. I think Malcolm can play on the left or the right. He obviously can't play as a centre forward. But yeah, there's that. Apparently, as well, though, the most important thing what we've got here as well, Chelsea have apparently been in contact with Gonzalo Higuain's brother and his agent yesterday. Juventus and Milan also want Alvaro Morata. So, there's obviously been talk of Morata moving to Italy. That's been very, very clearly reported. He met with, it was either Juventus or an AC Milan official in Milan. Different reports said different things, but regardless, he met an Italian football club official. 75 million release, well, not release, 75 million we want, obviously. We want to recoup that money which we spent on him last season. He has been a flop. He hasn't got the physicality for the Premier League. He's not got the mentality either, so I'm not going to say that he would work. But would this still work very well for us? Hell yes. Look, the one bad thing I'd like about Gonzalo Higuain, I don't think he's a massive game player. People are saying he scored the winner for the school death door and all that kind of stuff. But let's be honest, Juventus were going to win it anyway. There are a few points clear, regardless of playing Napoli or not, or playing it with whoever they were playing to get that final goal. It didn't really matter because they were going to win the league. Another thing about Higuain is, like me, he's a larger gent and he likes his food. And there's nothing wrong with that. Look, loving your food is good. Women love a dad bod. If you're watching Love Island right now, just turn that off and watch this because this is more important, okay? Do not compare yourself to those men because guess what? Rock hard abs and all of that don't work. Women like a dad bod. We drink beer. We eat food. We are fun. We don't go to the gym every day and we spend our time doing stuff. So guess what? Love yourself. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, Gonzalo Higuain being in contact with his brother. He does like his food. He would take time to settle in. Do we want that right now? No. But when he does settle in, I think he could be very good for us. I think he's a solid centre forward. He's proven it in 2 leagues, in the Serie A and he's proven it in La Liga. He's done it on the international stage as well, obviously in the Champions League, scoring a lot of goals, very solid there. Look, I think that he would be a good addition, but he's the right addition, 30 years old as well. No, it all depends on how much we'd have to pay for him, and I think it would be too much money involved in buying Gonzalo Higuain. I don't really think he's worth it. But yeah, I mean, all in, it's a very interesting scenario, to say the least, as to how that could work out. I mean, obviously, we'd have to wait for Morata to go out, and with the way that we do our deals and the stingy bastards we are, I think that'll take a lot of work before Higuain comes in. And to see that even happen, 1 in a million chance. To be honest, I think this is a very massive long shot. But I think if the other biggest long shot for me would be to get Lewandowski. I just want Lewandowski. That is a centre forward for me, which is, look, the guy's literally, his wife is like a taekwondo champion, so he's physically ridiculously fit. He's got like no fat on him, so he's not going to have the problem with Higuain has. He's an aerial threat. He's an all-round good centre forward. He might not have the most pace, but hell, fuck, he can hold the ball up and do all that kind of stuff. Higuain is good at all that kind of stuff, but Lewandowski for me is just the best centre forward in the world. And I prefer to see him. But look, if he's got 100 million, which is what people are asking for, we sell Morata for 75. We make a couple of other sales. Obviously, apparently there's a talk of Seri coming in. He will replace Danny Drinkwater in the side. That's apparently what we want. He would go. I think Drinkwater again has been linked with West Ham and other clubs like that. We would sell him. And I'd promote Loftus-Cheek. I'd see what other players you have in the youth academy that could come into the squad, and I would just change our complete perspective. But like I'm saying, the problem is all quick. We need a quick turnaround, all that kind of stuff. I'd rather take a couple of years out. Let's bed in our own players, almost like the way that Tottenham have done it. Look, obviously Tottenham as a club despise them. The way they've done that though, with how they've bedded in youth players and how Pochettino's done that, I think it's superb. You've got players that understand the philosophy, you understand what they want to do with the club going forward. They play for the shirt, which is very important for me as well. And to be honest, look, people saying talent over passion, I get that, but at the same time, look, passion is very important. If you've got players that are very, very good on paper and they don't gel together through the passion for the game or passion for the club or their job and their pride, then you're going to see what Stoke did and go down. Basically, it's stuff like that. But to be brutally honest, for me, it's just I prefer to see Lewandowski over Higuain. I don't think it'll happen. But yeah, what other stories we've got here? Let's have a look, Lawrence. What have you sent me? Okay, so Chelsea and Arsenal have spoken to the agent of Argentine international Christian Pavon. I don't know anything else. Yeah, literally, I've got no idea who that is. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What's Pavon like? Is he a decent little player? So we can have a chat about that kind of stuff. Lewandowski is 175 million. No, he's not. He's 100 million. That's what the clause said, and that's what's been reported. Well, let's have a look at some of these comments then, shall we, lads? What have we got? What are you saying? Start from the bottom. What are your thoughts on buying every single player in Italy to give Conte what he wants? I don't know, mate. It just doesn't make any sense, does it? I personally do not think it's a. It doesn't make any sense. He's clearly not cutting the mustard at the minute, and he wants to go. Apparently, he's Real Madrid's top target because they can't get anybody else. Basically, he doesn't have a release clause, so basically, we're going to try and barter them, despite wanting to get rid of him. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just think that Zappa-Costa hasn't worked out. I think going to Italy for players, the Italian league isn't great. It's okay quality, but I think some of the players he's getting aren't great. I was having this conversation again earlier. Like, if you look at the Italian national team, it really isn't all that either. You've got the likes of like Darmian as a left back, Zappa-Costa as a right back, Romagnoli as a centre half. Rugani's good, but he's not great. He's not up there with like the Chiellinis, the Barzalis, the Bonucci's, the Nestas, the Cannavaros. He's not going to be that great. But it's stuff like that which I don't know. It's an interesting scenario to say the least. But yeah, what other comments have we got here? Somewhere I'll bring back Costa. You know what I said a few days ago about being logical when you say stuff? That's not logical. Zidane, not logical. People need to stop, okay? I'm going to say this. I should just say this every single video. Stop trying to say we can get Zidane, we can get Costa back, we can get all these players. There are financial reasons and economic and political reasons and all that kind of stuff what doesn't work. You need to consider every single factor. For me, I say Lewandowski because if we make those sales, it is possible. If you sell a couple of players, we can potentially go and sign Lewandowski with the money that we've made off of those transfers. Obviously, you get add-ons and all that kind of stuff as well. You've got to say stuff when it makes sense. This guy Augustus, this makes good sense. And I think it would work, but it all depends on the manager we have. I think that Icardi, everyone's talking about Sarri. He wants a fast guy down the middle. Morata plus cash for Icardi. Icardi's a poacher. I don't think he'd work with Sarri, and I think that's pretty much it. But I mean, really, people need to stop saying stuff like that because honestly, it's just an absolute load of tosh, to be honest. What else we got here? Oh, Lewis is in the chat. I didn't even realise. What got going on? Lewa does not want to join Chelsea. I know, but you see what I'm saying? It's one of those scenarios where you could protect if money talks. Basically, he wants to come to the Premier League. He wants another challenge. Why not? I think we could give it a go. Sarri's best striker was Higuain when he was at Napoli. I disagree. Yeah, he had one good season with Higuain, and then Higuain left and went to Juventus. it's not great like that. Chelsea really done their grey, so I know soon nobody will want to join. Agree. Get Martial. I think it would Man United sell? Could you see it? Is that right? Okay, Harvey Bailey. I'm just going to block you now, son. Just get out. Just leave. Done. Right. Yeah, I'm not. Jesus Christ, bruv. Sit down in. Time out. Go away. Leon Bailey in. Come on, lads. Come on. Leon Bailey is a ridiculous amount of money. Is he really worth the cash? No. Hashtag Africans are down. That's brilliant. Look, is it going to happen? No. Do you want to see that again? This is another player we bring in. They'd stop the growth of some of our youth products. They stop the growth of the Hudson-Odois and Mason Mounts. Players can come out wide. Can potentially bring in Lewis. Stop being a dick. Bring in other players as well. I think you got to look at smart investments. I can't tell if people are just trolling now or they're being genuinely stupid. Come on, Louis, play centre back for Chelsea. I thought they couldn't afford me, mate. I think it's a case of, you just got to really, really think about everything. This guy, obviously, Miroslav Ivanov was saying Odoi should play more. Yeah, I agree. I think Hudson-Odoi has got fantastic potential. There are lots of players out there that have got good potential at Chelsea, but we lose them or nothing happens. Personally, for me, I just think it's a scenario where we really need to completely rethink our thought process. I think the question here is, if someone was to ask you, what is Chelsea's footballing philosophy, or what is their philosophy in comparison to other clubs, could you really put your finger on what it is? City, you can kind of see what it is. It's a mixture of financial investment and youth production. You've got players starting to filter through from the City Academy. Man United, you could have said it was the scenario where they, bums on seats. It was exciting football and that kind of stuff as well. And to be honest, did Chelsea really have any of that? What would you say Chelsea's philosophy is? This guy has summarised it as well. Tamzid has said our identity is consistently changing. Yeah, it is. It is consistently changing, and that is that is the problem. We need a period of stability, but we need it under the right manager. That's what the most important things. So when people are saying, question it when I say we need stability, and I say get rid of Conte, I understand the thought process. I understand why people say that. I understand why people say you're saying have balance, but get rid of the manager. If Conte doesn't want to be part of this club, then he can walk. It is as simple as that. The person I'll quite like seeing, and it is literally been coming up in the comments. One guy said it consistently, and I couldn't agree more with him. For me, I said the other day, I've literally just hit the point of fuck it. I've hit the point of fuck it. Why not go in and why not get Jokanovic from Fulham? Why not have a look at that? Why not take a risk? Why not give it a go? This is why I'm literally saying, we've got no problems whatsoever if we do that. If it goes wrong, then it goes wrong. The same thing happened with that Andre Villas-Boas. Everyone kicked off about it, but it was at that point that's when we had a ridiculously good squad, and he was underachieving. Right now, with the squad we have, if we're in this position, we're not really underachieving. We are the 5th best squad in England currently. Potentially now 6th if you look at how Arsenal are investing as well. We need to really look at and go, Jokanovic, everyone's banging on up playing a stylish, attacking, good football. Okay, Jokanovic does that. Okay, that ticks one box. People want to see more youth invested. You've seen players like Ryan Sessegnon and a couple of others come through for Fulham. He's developed them. Tom Cairney obviously was good for Fulham already, but he's developed him into a more superior role as well through his coaching techniques. That's another box tick for me. And to be honest, if you've not got a lot of money, this is a young manager who's successfully done back-to-back promotions. Obviously, hasn't proved it at Premier League level, and I completely understand that. But it's one of those scenarios where, again, fuck it. I just want to see something. I just want to see something go wrong. But if it goes wrong spectacularly, to be honest, for me, it's a case of we learn from it. We're right now. Chelsea we are in a transitional phase. Obviously, we've got the old guard and they all left, and right now we don't have that old guard. So we're redeveloping. So why not bring in someone who can help with that redevelopment? 3-4 years, maybe, I guess, because that is pretty much as long as a manager is going to last. 3 or 4 years, Djukanovic would give us a style. He'd bring through players. 3-4 years, you can bring time for people to finally figure themselves out and walk into the squad. And to be honest, for me, I think it'd be an interesting scenario to see it happen. I would happily give up Champions League football and winning trophies for a couple of years or a few years if that meant we could redevelop. People saying I don't think Djukanovic is the best option. If you've listened to what I said, from a standpoint in terms of trophies and all that kind of stuff, and so who's a better manager, Sarri's no better. Sarri is there is a chance of it happening, but Sarri's no better than Djukanovic. What's the difference? There's literally no difference whatsoever. Just because he's done it at a higher level as well. He's not won any trophies, so what's the point? If you could argue, Djukanovic has won a trophy, won the playoff trophy twice. It's stuff like that. But I think realistically for me, it's a very interesting scenario to see what could happen. People calling me an idiot for saying that Sarri's better and just consistently swearing at me. Give me a reason why. Don't just come on, mate. Think about it. Don't be an idiot. So yeah, for me, I'd just like to see something different. I think that's the scenario. I don't know who the best option is, but right now it's just like, fuck it, see what happens. I think it's one of those things where, listen, in life we learn from mistakes, and I think this is what we need to do right now. We need to experiment because we're in a different kind of scenario, and I don't think Chelsea's not been in this scenario for 15 years because for 15 years we've had a very good spine. And very strong players. We've had Lampard, we've had Terry's. We've been able to get all of that sorted. But right now, we've not got that. So why not use this time to experiment? Just think. If you see where I'm coming from, don't jump the gun and just go mad in the comment section saying stuff like I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about, all that kind of stuff. If you see where I'm coming from, you'll understand. I'm just basically saying it's just something where we can try something. I think if we're currently in the position to try something, we may. It seems to me, and it feels like the way we're operating as a club at the minute, we need to take 2 steps backwards to go. Well, 1 step backwards to go 2 steps forward. It's one of those, and I just feel that Djukanovic could be the best option for that. Chances of him joining are very slim, but the same right now, I feel personally, is going for Sarri. Sadiq's here, you're right, mate. Same goes for Sarri, same goes for Laurent Blanc. That all seems to be a smoke screen. I don't know who the new manager is going to be. No one knows who it's going to be. So everyone's talking about wanting to see attacking football. Djukanovic offers that. But yeah, look, who knows what will happen. Yeah, let's have a look at some more of your comments. Wow, they're coming in thick and fast. Let's have a look. I see us bouncing back next season. Keep your head up, man. We are not in crisis. Our squad is great. Tom Smith. No, not in the current state. I don't see us bouncing back that quickly because we're not moving like we did in the other markets as well. Sorry, just going to flush our team with Italians. I don't necessarily want that, if I'm being honest. I'm adding Brexit means Brexit, Josh. Obviously, you didn't say that, but I think would he? Do you know that for a fact? You can't make these things, these claims without backing up with facts. Give me facts. Give me an argument. I'd read an essay if someone sent it here. I'd literally read it properly if there are enough facts in it. Griezmann wants to play for Japan. Okay, now I know you're just taking the piss, Rick. Loftus-Cheek needs to come back. Completely agree. But apparently, he played very well tonight. Don't want Laurent Blanc, neither. Napoli players prefer Sarri. Cool. But I can stay and rot at Napoli then, can't he? They're looking for managers obviously want to play 4-3-3 and back attacking football and also implementing the youth. So it's a good sign, but it's taking long. Sarri doesn't use any youth whatsoever, really. He's brought in Zielinski at Empoli, but then he brought him to Napoli. I don't think he's all that Sarri at all. I think that Laurent Blanc obviously is renowned for his racist rant about youth players playing for the France out obviously of players from Black and Arab backgrounds. He wasn't particularly keen on that. But yeah, it's one of those. I just literally I think Jukanovic me ticks all the boxes. Luis Enrique, I think someone's saying there. Does he use youth? I haven't seen enough of him. He's not been good enough at other clubs. He did all right at one season at Celta Vigo. Roma and Villarreal, he was rubbish. Enrique, Sean Dyche. Yes, I'd love to see Sean Dyche. I'm joking. That'd be great. What happened to Luis Enrique? No idea. Pep Guardiola. I'm saying Pep's a fraud, but I think people know by now that I'm taking the piss. Why is our ball consistently? Oh, blimey, moving quick. Slow on doing business. Because they don't know what they're doing. Marina doesn't know what she's doing. We need to start using youth and have a good manager wanted to use them. We're wasting future players. Yep, and Jukanovic does that. Should we just give Conte another season? Does he want to be here? No. Is he basically purposely running us to the ground? Yes. Is he too stubborn? Yes. Is he tactically inept? Yes and no. He proved himself in certain scenarios. Jitin Job saying, prefer Jukanovic, but only whereas if he could attract players. I don't even think that's the main reason about attracting players. We've not got Champions League football. I'd rather rebrand and all of that and take it foot backwards and go forwards again, and then potentially look at bringing in better players in the future. I think Roman feels he can contend with oligarchs as an oligarch with countries anyway. So it's an interesting scenario. I think the big card we've got, and it just feels ridiculous saying it, is we're in London. It's one of those. And obviously London, for some reason, is a big pool for players. Is it enough of a pool? I don't know. Is the fact that we're Chelsea and all that kind of stuff big enough pool? I guess from a marketing perspective right now, potentially, but obviously we're a different level to Manchester United and all that kind of stuff when they're out of Champions League football. Man United is obviously probably the biggest brand of the world, but other than that, it's just not going to happen. Marco Van Hinkel potentially. Where is Ranieri? I believe he's still at Nantes. I think. What's my chat going off? Sorry about that. Hazard will not stay at this club. Whether Zidane step down or not, I'm not even going to address that because people talk about Zidane. Do we need a new captain? Yes, we need Aspilicueta to be our captain. Give Conte to Madrid and bring in Jukanovic. Promote youth and save in the transfer market. Sell off players like Drinkwater and Pedro. Now after a few seasons, I think we can do well. Yeah, I think, to be honest, that's what I'm thinking. That's my thought process. I just that's what I want to see. And I want to see a change. But it's a case of, is our board apt enough to do so? No, because they're inept. They don't seem to really push it properly. And they don't really communicate with the fans. If they came out, Sanjay Jukanovic and said, look, this guy's going to take us to the future. We're going to try something a bit different. It's going to be a bit of stability going into all this kind of stuff. We haven't got the stadium, so it's going to try and make a better squad going into the future. I would basically say, okay. I think we would have to be prepared to be maybe in the Europa League for a couple of years. But I think that's a risk worth taking to see potentially better fruits come about a few years down the line. I think there is a big rebuilding process that is needed, and I think that it would be something which would make sense. Do you think Serio is a good signing for us? He hasn't signed for us yet, but be interesting to see what has happened as well. Van Ginkel is the next Frank Lampard. He has potential. No, he's not. Eddie Howe. He's a young English coach who will develop the young English players, which we have loads of. And in a few years' time, we can be a great team again. Imagine all the youth playing. Eddie Howe, he's one of those managers which is a decent manager, but outside a certain place, he wouldn't work. And it's like Sean Dyche at Burnley. I couldn't see Sean Dyche managing another club other than outside of England. Other than England, basically, he'd have to move from Burnley to England for anything. Otherwise, it just wouldn't work. I think Sean Dyche is, and so I think that Eddie Howe is the same. How about that was good, I like that. We're not guaranteed fucking stability. There's expectations at Chelsea. Understand that. Are you listening to what I'm saying? I said decrease your expectations because the expectations are from us we're expecting too much for something we don't have. This is the point I'm trying to make. Instead of just saying all that kind of stuff, then understand the scenario. I just think that it's you really need to think about it. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever to keep saying we should be winning the Champions League and that kind of stuff when we just don't have the players. When we were going for the Champions League, yes, we didn't have the best squad, but you still had some fantastic names in there. You had a big, strong spine and some great players. Do we have any players you say, oh, they're great and they could go straight into that team right now, or straight the players that are from that team which created that spine, which got what was the record points total and did back-to-back titles? Could you see any players going straight into that team? Hazard potentially, but you'd have to take out Damien Duffy and Robin from that first season, and I think that's pretty tough. But I just think that it's just ridiculous expectations, basically. Drinkwater is the least of Chelsea's problems in midfield. Fabregas and Bakayoko need to replace with Jorginho and Thiago. I'll just skip that comment right now. What are you saying about Nini, Daniel? I love Nini. I think Luis Enrique is the ex-Barcelona manager, would be a good fit, but I'm happy with Conte. He wouldn't be a good fit. Who would you prefer to... Jesus Christ, there's a lot of managers coming. All right, Jason. Something. What about Loftus-Cheek, Zuma, Callas, Marco van Ginkel, and Masunda? Masunda, I think, needs to go on loan to a mid-table Premier League club and perform. Kenny, I think, is ready to come back and be part of the squad. I don't think we should have loaned him out anyway. Marco van Ginkel, captain of PSV, seems pretty settled out there. However, I would like to see him given another opportunity, but because he's the captain and all that kind of stuff, I just can't see it happening. Thomas Callas, why not? Ruben Loftus-Cheek, definitely. And Kurt Zouma would be good to come back into the squad. What do I think of the new kit? It's shit. That's it. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to need to read the rest of that. Why don't Chelsea... Why are all messages coming? Think if I want to scroll down. We're in no man's land right now. Just get on with Sarri so he can sign players. It takes more than that. We aren't as rich as City. No, I don't think anybody is. Thoughts on the Abramovich situation? I said it earlier. And I'll be saying it more. I'll do live streams on my personal Instagram and stuff. So if you follow me there, I can have a chat about that there. So much dead weight at this club. Completely agree. Let's take a couple more questions and then we'll leave it. Batshuayi, Zuma, Kennedy, Loftus-Cheek, Jeremy Boga. Maybe not Boga, but I'd say about the rest. Should go for Zielinski. Well, if we sign Sarri, think about the politics between Chelsea and Napoli. Think about how we're going to go about getting Sarri. Do you really think that they're going to sell players to us? Come on. Think. Use your brain. See, this. I don't mean to be patronising. I'm just saying, just before you type, take different stuff into account. And if you still believe that it's physically possible, then give me some reasons. Have a talk to me about it. Don't just say we need to do this. You need to have backing. You treat this. All right. What I want to start doing here, when we do these, I want people to treat these as almost like a scenario where we're talking to each other, obviously, but pretend that you're pitching. Pretend I'm Marina and pretend you hate me. I can have a few of you do already, so that's fine. Don't worry about it. And literally pretend you're trying to pitch me an idea. Pitch it to me. Don't just say this. Give me a reason. Why should we get Zielinski? How is it plausible? Could we do it? Look at the financials, all that kind of stuff. Think of it that way. Do Chelsea have the financial capability right now to sign the player, let alone look at the political stuff? Is Abramovich selling? I think it would make sense, but I'm not sure. We deserve Europa for 2 years at least. Will help us a lot better develop a new style of play. I agree. Sign Icardi, maybe. Do we need to see more of Emerson? Apparently, I don't know. Beneventi for manager, Jesus. I don't think I'd lost 5 minutes at Chelsea. I think I'd be in trouble with Marina straight away. With such talented youth, give them a chance, that'd be sensible. Yeah, I completely agree. Why can't we get... Hold on, what's this? Come on, scroll up. Where are you? I just missed it. That must be fun. Let's have a look. It's gone. That's annoying. Also, like, why can't we get Dybala for Morata plus cash? I think Dybala's like valued at like 140 million. He's one that's valued high. He'll be valued too highly for us to get. If you look at how much Neymar went for, Belotti or Icardi to replace Morata. Belotti's had a shite season in the Serie A, to be honest. He's really not all that. My personal number one transfer target. So are you saying it? So you're basically picturing what I'm saying. If I was going to get anybody, who would I go for? And I think I said Lewandowski, but let's bring my expectations down a bit. Where do we need to strengthen? I'd say we need to strengthen central midfield. I'd say we need a box-to-box midfielder. Of the people we're linked with right now, I'd say Seri's the most likely. Seri's good, but I retweeted it yesterday, but obviously you can't see it now. But apparently his tackling is a weakness, but he's decent. But I think it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. I still think Seri will probably be the option. Seri, Martial, Lewandowski, leave. We need 2 midfielders for right wing, yeah. Messi. Mourinho head coach, Jesus. Right, I think on that note, I'll leave you guys in peace. Listen, apparently Nini is live now. That's what this Dan guy is making incredibly clear. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. Nini obviously has been covering a lot of the stories and doing transfer stuff as well. I just thought I'd have a chat with you guys today, mainly because there's literally been no transfer news. But yeah, listen, seriously, when the comment section is alive, please, everything I've said about making points, this is very important. And I think this is a scenario where people really need to analyze it and talk about it properly. Look, do not just say, this is what we need. Seriously, write me an essay. I don't care. Whatever you feel needs to happen, back it with facts. Give me evidence if it could work. And we will engage in the comment section. That's all we will do that. But seriously, just write the comments in there and give me reasoning. And then me and Lawrence, we can look at it. And what I will do is if they're good enough and all that kind of stuff, we can read it properly. Seriously, I'll do a video on it. I'll discuss these comments as well. But yeah, listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to 110 Chelsea. All social links down in the description: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow my personal social, because that's all I have at the minute, which is my Instagram, which is at Louis Beneventi, because everything else is not working. I don't really use Snapchat, and there's no point if I'm using Instagram at the same time. But guys, thank you so much. Check out Nini, and see you very, very soon. Take care.